At the time of recording this video, I'm 23 years old. When I was 16, I opted out of the traditional education system, spending the last 7 years building my income to multiple six figures and getting in the best shape of my life. But if I could go back and talk to my teenage self and give him advice on how to fast track success into their life, here's what I would say. Number one is, if you want to be a master, you have to be a learner first. If you want to be successful, hang around people that are successful and provide value to them. I know for myself, I didn't know anything when I was 16 years old, and all I needed to do was get around people who were at the level that I wanted to go. The problem is when you're young, you don't have anything to offer. You only have time. So you don't have capital, you don't have resources, you don't have skills. The only thing you have is your time. So how can you deploy that time in effective manners to provide value to other people that you want to spend time with so that they keep you around? If you have a mentor that wants to pour into you, he's going to see opportunity in you. If he sees himself in you, he's going to want to pour more resources into developing you. So sometimes people think that being a pawn is a little bit embarrassing, but for me, it's unlocked levels of success in my life that I wouldn't have been able to achieve if I didn't humble myself and bring myself down to learn from other people. Which brings us to number two, which is stay in shape, don't get in shape. It's a lot easier to maintain health than build it from nothing. So I know for myself, I kind of started playing hockey. I was an athlete, and through a couple injuries, I ended up quitting hockey when I was 17, and that put me in a negative spiral. I wasn't taking care of my health. You know, you get automatic cardio when you go out and play hockey, and my physical stature just went on a decline. That's when COVID hit in 2020, and I wanted to be the person that controlled the controllables. So I just got in the best shape of my life and made sure that it was a priority. I never go 2 or 3 days without working out. And that has unlocked levels of success, because when you look at somebody that you want to do business with, are you going to look at them with more respect or less respect if they have a physical stature that is admirable, that they spent time building? It just goes to show that the people that are in shape keep the commitments that they make to themselves in private. Even at 23 years old, you know, you go to high school with these people and you can tell the difference between somebody that took care of themselves after high school and somebody that didn't. So there's people that go in an upward spiral of positive and health building, and there's other people that just go in a negative down spiral, drinking, sleeping in, not taking care of their health, eating junk food, and they blow up. And you see them 4 or 5 years later after high school, and you wonder what happened. So I know for myself, taking care of my health was a huge lever that I had to pull to achieve success. Which brings us to number 3, which is measure what matters. Now, I'm not going to tell you what to measure, but I know for me, like, if you want more money, track your net worth, put it in a spreadsheet, put all your assets, all your liabilities, all your cash, and track how much money you make every month and how much money you spend. If you want something to grow, you have to track it. A lot of people think that they can just eyeball calories when they try to get in shape. I know for myself, I have a scale. Everybody in my house has a scale, and we scale our food. We make sure that we're tracking what matters, because the truth is if it matters to you, you will measure it. If you want it to get better, you have to measure it, because if not, you don't have a data point. You need a data point in order to actually make progress towards a goal. A lot of people think that tracking their calories or tracking their weight or tracking their money is actually harder. But I know for myself, it actually made everything easier, because I don't have to think about it. I just eat whatever my meal plan says, and I weigh my food, and then at the end of the day, I lose weight or I gain weight depending on what goals I have. And even if you're not trying to work towards a goal, just the habit of tracking something, subconsciously you'll start making moves to improve it. I know for myself, when I got an Oura Ring and I was tracking my sleep score, I didn't really care consciously about my sleep score, but in the back of my head, I was going to bed earlier, I was doing my nighttime routine, I was getting more hours of sleep, because I wanted that score to go up, whether that's a good thing or not. Which brings us to number 4, which is wake up early. If you take one thing away from this video, please start waking up early. Whatever early is for you, like it could be 4 a.m., it could be 7 a.m. But I know the richest people I know, they wake up at 4 a.m. They wake up at 5 a.m. They wake up the first thing in the morning. For myself, I found 5 a.m. is the perfect time for me to wake up. If you don't wake up early, you will not attack the day with tenacity. And what's cool is when you wake up before everybody else, you have a couple hours in the morning with no distractions. where nobody reaches out to you. Everybody's sleeping. So whether you want to check your phone or not, it's just quiet time. And some people like to do that at night at like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. But I know for myself, when you wake up, you've got a fresh brain, you drink a fresh coffee, you sit down, do the work, no distractions. That's where I've seen my productivity increase tenfold. And here's the hack. If you have a hard time waking up early, just go to bed earlier. Like I know for myself, it's not waking up early that's hard, because a lot of us need 7, 8, 9 hours of sleep. It's going to bed early that's hard. So for me, I just have a set time every night. I go to bed 9:30, I'm passed out. That way I get my 7.5 hours of sleep and I can wake up at 5 a.m. and feel refreshed. Because a lot of people get on this hamster wheel of like, oh, I'm just going to start waking up early. And then they go to bed at midnight, 1 a.m. and they wake up at 5 a.m. and they wonder why they feel like shit. And it's because you're not going to bed early. So I know it's hard, especially in the summer. If you live in Canada, the sun's out at like 10 p.m., but make it a priority. Which brings us to number 5, which is upgrade your friend group. Every successful person that I know, the richest people in the world, are constantly upgrading their environment. They're constantly upgrading the city that they live in, the people that they hang around with, because you're the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. You're the average of the 5 people that you allow into your life. Because I know for myself, my peer group has changed over the years, whether I'm moving cities, I'm hanging around with new people, I'm meeting new friends that have grown businesses that I admire. I want to spend time with those people. And sometimes you have to remove your old friends to make room for the new. And a lot of people are scared of that because they went to high school with these friends. But the truth is if you're on a journey of growth, if you're becoming a better version of yourself every year, you can't still hang around with the same people that haven't gone on that same journey. So a lot of the times you spend time with people that you've been friends with 5, 7, 11 years, and you wonder why your life looks the same way. But it's because you allow those people to influence you in a negative way. So I know for myself, like after high school, I spent a lot of time alone. I didn't have any friends. A lot of the people that I used to hang out with, I stopped hanging out with, and I went on a journey of growth. Through that, I found people who had similar interests. Instead of playing your life to defaults, to staying friends with people that you went to school with or you played sports with, find the people in the environments that you actually like hanging out in. If, for example, entrepreneurship groups, maybe it's your new job, maybe it's the gym. Go to the places where you'll find other people who are on a journey of betterment, because if not, you're just going to be stuck in the hamster wheel, being in a negative environment that doesn't allow you for growth. Which brings us to number 6, which is have a primary aim. I know a lot of people that want to achieve success in their life and they don't even write down their goals. I can tell you with 100% accuracy that every successful person you know has written down a goal and they've achieved that goal. It's almost crazy how you write it down that it actually becomes true on the back end. So what do you want your life to look like? Have a detailed plan of what you want it to be. It doesn't have to be accurate. It doesn't have to be picture perfect of what it's going to look like, but at least you have an aim. So ask yourself, like, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 15 years, in 20 years, what do you want your life to look like? Work backwards from where you want to end up, because a lot of people are just going through the motions. They're just taking a job, looking at their salary, living in the present moment, working Monday to Friday to just go off on the weekends, but don't have long-term goals for their life because they're scared that if they set a goal, they're hostage to that goal. But the truth is that you're not hostage to that goal. Even if you set a goal in 5 years and you decide that's the thing I want to go do, you can reserve the right to change that goal in a year, in 6 months, if your circumstances change. But the reality is everybody that's achieved success in life have at least a goal that they're working towards, directionally accurate, but it doesn't have to be exactly what your life looks like in 5 years and 10 years, because it could change. And here's a piece of advice that I heard that completely changed this for me is dedicate to the activities, but detach from the outcome. Dedicate your life to the process of betterment, but then detach from the outcome of the achievement. It's gonna happen inevitably. A lot of people think that their life's gonna change in 6 months when they put their head down, a year, 2 years, but the truth is it takes 5, 10, 15 years of consistency in order to change your life, in order to get on a path of betterment. So detach from the outcomes, detach from the materialism, from all the achievements, and just dedicate yourself to the activities of working towards that goal. Which brings us to number 7, which is 90% of your results come from the last 10% of effort. You know, most people just do enough work to get by, to get the result. But the truth is that in that extra 10% of work at the end of the process is where you get most of the gains, to get 100% completion on your reps, on your sets. When you train in the gym and you train till failure, it's that extra 2 reps at the end to get close to failure that actually creates the gains. You could get 7 reps done, and if your failure point's at 10, you could get some gains. but you're leaving a full table of gains just there that could be accomplished with 2 extra reps. So a lot of people just do enough work to get by, just do enough work to not get fired, or just invest enough money to maybe become successful. And that's the difference between somebody that's good at something and somebody that's great. Somebody that's good is just gonna do enough. It's just gonna do a little bit of work until it's good to go and then ship it off. But the person that's great is maniacal about creating something that's so great that they've put hours and hours and hours of effort into. And that's the difference between a business that gets to $1 million in revenue or a business that gets to 10 million. Which brings us to number 8, which is only ask for advice from people who've been where you want to go. So on the same premise of being a pawn, not a king, if you have friends and parents or partners that don't have what you want, don't listen to their advice for your life. If you want your life to look completely different from your lineage, from the people around you, you have to go seek advice from people who've been there before. Find people who've done the thing that you want to go do. You can't listen to your parents, you can't listen to your friends, you can't listen to your partners if they haven't been on the journey that you are going on. And a lot of people get confused by this because they think, oh, well, they want the best for me. But the truth is they just don't want you to get hurt. They just don't want you to get in trouble. And if you want success in your life, I know for myself, I had to take risk. I had to do things that a lot of people thought was stupid at the time. When I look back, it was the biggest leaps that I made in my career. So if you actually want to get success in your life, you can't listen to people who haven't done the thing that you want to go do. Which brings us to number 9, which is life gets harder when you try to make it easy. Do what's hard today for an easier tomorrow. Work out the first thing in the morning. I know for myself, everything changed when I started working out the first thing in the morning. I just wake up, get my pre-workout in, get my meals in, and I go work out. Because a lot of people drag on and don't do the hardest thing first, and they wonder why their life is hard. Stack your wins, because consistency compounds. The more you do something hard, the more you're going to want to do something hard. I know for a lot of my friends, they like to do ice baths where they'll go out in minus 40 degrees and go in a cold tub of water, but they do it first thing in the morning because that's the hardest thing that they do that day. Everything else in the day becomes easy. Which brings us to number 10, which is if you're not losing at all, you're not taking enough risk. Your biggest lessons, your biggest learnings come from failing a lot. So a lot of people think that when they fail, especially when they fail in public, they feel like it's embarrassing. But in order to actually get step functions of improvement in your life, you have to be failing and adjusting. If you're not failing constantly, you're not moving fast enough. I have this phrase that I call learn once. Because a lot of people use failing as an excuse. Oh, I failed this test, so I wasn't able to go in college. Or, oh, I failed my job interview, so I'm going to stop trying and I'm just going to get a normal job. But the most successful people I know, the people that I've learned from over the years, when they failed, they take that as a learning. They take that as a lesson and they implement it into their life. They don't fail twice at the same thing, but they fail often and constantly to move fast. Which brings us to number 11, which is don't compare your level 1 to somebody else's level 27. I know for myself at 23 years old, sometimes I feel behind. I have people younger than me that are more successful, that make a lot more money, that eclipse my success. I see a lot of influencers online that are 21, 22, 20, 19 years old, and they're already millionaires. And it's hard for me to not compare myself to their chapter. But the truth is that they went on their own journey. They have different life circumstances. I know for myself, I have a trajectory that is ahead of a lot of my peers, and I don't take it for granted, but I'm attacking the work. I'm not comparing myself to other people in my circle. I'm just comparing myself to the person I was yesterday. I have this tattoo on my leg that says beat yesterday. And the reason I have that there is because I just have to constantly remind myself that I'm not comparing myself to my peers. I'm just comparing myself to who I was yesterday and stacking habits in order to make myself better every day. So if you want to see what my life looks like day to day, shoot me a follow on Instagram. It's sam.gadet. Just message me that you came from YouTube and I'll see you in the next one.